When I ask you to name some bad MLB contracts, a few names immediately come to mind. Albert Pujols, Josh Hamilton, every other player the Angels have ever signed, etc. But what are the worst active contracts in all of baseball? Let's go ahead and talk about it. What is up, YouTube? It's your boy NMR Sports here, coming back at you with another MLB video. And today we're going to be talking about the 10 worst contracts in all of baseball among active players. Obviously, we know about the historically bad contracts, like the Albert Pujols one, which I mentioned in the intro. There's plenty more out there, but we want to talk about some really bad contracts. I'm wearing my Anthony Rendon City Connect jersey in honor of this, so let's get into the video, start talking about it. But first, don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe for more daily MLB content. Also, sign up at Thrive Fantasy, get a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100, and get some free money to bet with as well. All the details are in the description. Appreciate you guys' support. Let's head into the video right now and start talking about the 10th worst contract in all of baseball. Coming in at number 10, I've got my player that I love to hate, Jose Berrios, man. Recently this offseason, he signed a 7-year, $131 million contract. It's not so bad this year, only getting paid $10 million, but it's only going to go up from here, ballooning up to $24 million in 2027 and 2028. It's going to be a tough contract for the Blue Jays. Let's see how he's performing since signing this contract in 2022 this year. 95 and a third innings pitched so far. He's got a 5.38 ERA, which I believe is the worst among starting pitchers in all of baseball, and a 4.81 FIP, putting up 0.3 wins above replacement. So he's been pretty much awful. He's been batting practice. He's been one of, if not the worst starting pitcher in all of baseball, and he's only going to get paid more and more and more money, and they're locked into paying him till 2028. This contract is awful. The only reason I put it at number 10 was because I feel like he still has time to turn it around, because he is still pretty young and the pieces are there. He can be a good pitcher, but right now this is looking to shape up as a terrible contract. It's only going to get worse unless he can improve his on-field performance. Next up, we've got a short and sweet one, and that is Marcus Stroman, as they like to call him on Twitter. Marcus Stroman, man, he's been awful this season. The BABIP luck has finally caught up to him. You can see this season so far, he's got a 4.91 ERA and a 4.03 fielding independent pitching. He has just not been pitching well. He's only thrown 51 and a third innings pitched this year as well, and he even got lit up in the minor leagues on a rehab assignment. Now, the Cubs aren't logged into this one for too long. As you can see, it's only a 3-year deal, but they are on the hook to pay him $25 and $21 million the next 2 seasons, so this is going to be a really big chunk of change that they're giving him over in Chicago for Marcus Stroman to be one of the worst pitchers in baseball. Next up, we've got a really unfortunate one, and that is Chris Sale. Now, Chris Sale is a great pitcher, but the best ability is availability, and he has not been available since signing this contract. You can see in 2019, he signed a 5-year, $145 million contract with an average value of $29 million a season. And since signing that contract, his on-field performance has gone downhill, and he's been injured. He's thrown 147 innings pitched in 2019 with an ERA of 4.4. 2021, he came back for a little bit, 42 and a third innings pitched, 3.16 ERA. Not terrible, but not, his true elite form that they thought they were signing. And then this season, he finally came back and had his first start against the Rays the other day, and he looks better. I think he's fully healthy now, which is nice. But as a whole, they've basically been paying him $30 million the last 2 seasons to not be an elite pitcher and not be on the field. Next up, we got a really long contract belonging to Miguel Cabrera of the Detroit Tigers. He signed it for 8 years, $248 million back in 2016. And since signing it, unfortunately, the legendary first ballot Hall of Famer, his production's gone way downhill. As you can see here, just going by WRC+, 2016 he was pretty good. You can see 153 WRC+ in 158 games. But next year he was a below average hitter with a 92. Next year he had an up year, but he only played in 38 games, and that was in 2018, so it wasn't a shortened season. It was just an injury-riddled one. 97 WRC plus in 2019. He was average in 2020, and in the last 2 seasons, including the current one, he's been a below average hitter. So overall, they're paying him about $31 million a year to barely be a league average hitter. So unfortunately, one of the legends of the game, but just like Albert Pujols, really bad contract to end his career there. He's just kind of stealing money from the Tigers at this point. Next up, we've got just a comically bad, like a just phenomenally bad. I guess that's not an adjective you would use to describe something bad, but just a terrible contract. David Price, 7 years, $217 million. It's almost over, which is why I didn't put it higher. This is the last season they owe him any money. But my God, man, $31 million since 2016. Let's take a look at his production. Since 2016, he has not had an above average ERA. His ERA has been in the high 3s, low 4s. His fielding independent pitching has been around the same amount. He's never put up a season with over 4 wins above replacement. And now he's basically a mediocre relief pitcher for the Dodgers. And they're paying him $31 million a year. Just an absolute fleece by David Price and his agent. The Boston Red Sox really messed up on this one, and they offloaded some of it in the Mookie Betts trade, but the Red Sox are still paying some of this contract. They're giving the Dodgers money to help pay it, but just a terrible contract. I'm more rating this on the 2022 impact than I am on the entirety of the contract. If we're talking entirety of the contract, I think this is the worst one. Next up, we got another Toronto Blue Jays pitcher, and that is HyunJin Ryu. He signed a 4-year, $80 million contract in 2020 in the 2019 offseason, $20 million a year, and a free agent in 2024, so they're still on the hook for another season. And Ryu, it's been a combination of poor performance and injury. He's currently on the injured list, and he just really hasn't been available for the Blue Jays since 2020. He had a pretty good shortened season in 2020, 67 innings pitched, 2.69 ERA, fielding independent pitching of 3.01. Not a bad season, especially in the shortened 2020 season. But last year, 169 innings pitched. It's not really a full healthy season. 4.37 ERA and a 4.02 FIP. That is pretty well below average. It's definitely one of the worst pitchers in baseball, more so than it's one of the best, that's for sure. And then this season, he's only thrown 27 innings, but he has a 5.67 ERA and a 4.78 FIP. He just doesn't throw very hard. He's not deceptive anymore, and he's just kind of aged out of being a good pitcher outside of that 2020 season for them. And they owe him $20 million this year and next year. Just a really rough contract for the Toronto Blue Jays, and it's the second time they're on this list with one of their starting pitchers. Oh, baby. Now we're getting into the really bad ones. This is Christian Yelich. 7 years, $188 million. I'll be honest, when they signed this, I thought this was a fleece by the Brewers. I thought they got him for a steal. But my God, does it look like Christian Yelich is stealing the money now. 2020, they signed him. He has an average salary of $26.9, so closer to $27 million a year. And they're on the hook until 2028. 2028. Let's take a look at his production since he signed this contract. The 2 years before he signed it, he had a 167 and 174 WRC plus respectively. Starting after he signed this contract, 112 WRC plus, 101, and then he currently has a 106 this year. So he went from being a perennial MVP candidate, one of the best hitters in the National League, to just an average baseball player overnight as soon as he got paid. This is a terrible contract by the Brewers, and I think it's only going to get worse with age, so just easily one of the worst contracts in all of baseball. Next up, we got an unbelievably bad contract. I actually originally recorded an entire video just about this contract and how bad it is, but I didn't end up posting it, so here we are. Patrick Corbin, man. Signed a 6-year, $140 million deal in 2019 with the Washington Nationals after they won that World Series and had a great run with him in the postseason. But since signing that contract in 2019, you can see here, 3.25 ERA that season and 202 innings pitched. That was pretty nice. 2020, 65 innings pitched, 4.66 ERA, 4.17 FIP. Pretty bad, definitely towards the bottom of the league when it comes to starting pitchers. And then from there on, he legitimately became the worst starting pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. 5.82 ERA last season in 2021, currently sitting at a 5.70 ERA. The FIP has been awful as well. He hasn't put up a full win in the last 2 seasons. He has just been an awful, just a train wreck. I honestly think it'd be better if he wasn't pitching for them at all. I think he's actively making their team worse, and they're paying him how much? $23 million this year, $24 million next year, and then $35 million in 2024, and he's already the worst pitcher in baseball? This is just a train wreck of a contract. A train wreck would actually be embarrassed to be associated with this contract. And then at number 1 and 2, we got a tie between Anthony Rendon and Steven Strasburg. These two are two peas in a pod. You can see 7 years, 245, 7 years, 245. The exact same contracts, and both of these players have one main issue, and that is being available. They have been injured since they signed these contracts, it feels like. You can see Anthony Rendon had a pretty good shortened season with the Angels. He played 52 of the 60 games possible. 153 WRC plus. He was actually really good that year. He actually got some MVP votes that season. Last year with the Angels, though, he only played 58 games in a 162-game season. 95 WRC plus in those games. And then in 2022 with the Angels, he had season-ending surgery already. 45 games played this year. 104 WRC plus. Didn't even put up a full win above replacement. And then compared to Steven Strasburg hasn't even thrown 40 innings since he signed this contract. This is just an absolute train wreck. He's barely thrown 30 innings since he signed this contract. 2020, he had 2 starts that year. He started 5 games in 2021, and this year he started 1 game and then immediately went back onto the injured list. This dude is just, he's had injury risks his entire career. The seasons where he's been fully healthy has been phenomenal. Nobody's arguing that, but my God, he just cannot stay on the field. I think this one's worse than Anthony Rendon's. If I had to rank them, Steven Strasburg is the worst contract in Major League Baseball. Anthony Rendon is second. So those are my picks for the 10 worst contracts in all of baseball. Let me know if you agree with my picks in the comment section below. What contracts would you have put on here? There were a couple of honorable mentions. I thought about putting Aroldis Chapman on this list because his contract's kind of rough this year. Javi Baez is kind of trending in the wrong direction, but he's been hot as of late. It's been a tough one to rank, but let me know your least favorite contracts in all of baseball in the comment section below. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more daily MLB content. I apologize for my voice being a little raspy. I've been a little under the weather the last few days. I appreciate you guys' support. Sign up at Thrive Fantasy with code NMR, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day.